All right, y'all, we finna get into another reaction right now. This one right here was referred to by our man, Spider-Man. You know what I'm saying? This is a case almost too disturbing to mention. Elizabeth Olten. I don't know what it's about. He referred it to us. We're gonna get into it. Let's go.
A typical playdate, a troubled young teen, and one deadly secret. All of these elements are tied up together in a case that to this day is often regarded as one of the most disturbing and shocking. What is up, Iwu crew? Today we are exploring the infamous case of Alyssa Bustamante. Let's get into it. From the moment Alyssa Bustamante was born to her teenage parents in January of 1994, she was introduced to a world of endless trials and tribulations. Her mother, Michelle, who was only 15 when she had Alyssa, was reported to struggle with raising her daughter and was described by news sources as a less than picture-perfect mom. Later court documents reported that Michelle had a history of misdemeanor convictions for drunken driving and marijuana possession. Alyssa's father, Cesar, was also alleged to have addiction issues, and police records show that he was eventually convicted of felony assault and was sentenced to serve 3 concurrent terms in prison. While Alyssa was still very young, the family moved frequently between California and Missouri. As a child, Alyssa, with 2 teenage parents who didn't appear to be ready to raise a child, had already begun developing questionable behavior. However, this behavior would only increasingly worsen after she and her younger brothers were taken in by their grandparents when Alyssa was around 8 years old. In fact, her grandparents eventually achieved legal custody of the 4 children. The grandparents wanted to raise the children with more stability and brought them to the small, quaint town of St. Martin's, Missouri, which had a population of just over 1,000 at the time. In the little town, crammed right next to Jefferson City, everyone knew just about everyone. Alyssa did not adjust right away, though. In fact, it was difficult for Alyssa to get used to living with her grandparents, and she allegedly struggled with depression and was reported to occasionally self-harm. As Alyssa grew into a teenager and attended Jefferson City High School, she began to develop a more edgy personality. She often had strands of hair in front of her eyes due to her side-swept bangs, wore heavy eye makeup, and painted her nails black. This was in contrast to the other young girls she interacted with, especially at the church she regularly attended, where she was known to participate in several different youth activities. Although most people just saw a girl with an edgy style, Alyssa was far from a typical teenager, as deep inside she was stirring with distress and turmoil. This dark, troubled side of the young teen would show itself in disturbing and often upsetting ways at home. Online sources cite that Alyssa's mood would often fluctuate, and she developed a habit of taking rather questionable pictures of herself. This included selfies where her lipstick was smeared to look like blood, and another where her fingers imitated a gun to her head. This side of Alyssa only seemed to grow as time went on, and things continually worsened down the line.
Okay, let's go.
Eventually culminating to a peak on one fateful Labor Day weekend in 2007. Alyssa was rushed to the hospital after carving the word hate on her arm and attempting to take her own life by overdosing on Tylenol. After the scare, her grandparents knew they had to find help for Alyssa before things got even worse. Alyssa's grandparents tried endlessly to find her aid, taking her to numerous counselors and therapists. Soon after the incident, Alyssa was prescribed Prozac, an antidepressant. Despite their best efforts, Alyssa continued down a dark path, one that would eventually lead to a terrible incident.
Here we go.
Meanwhile, Elizabeth Olten, Alyssa's 9-year-old neighbor, was seen as the complete opposite. She was described by her mother as a sweet, girly girl, loving kittens and everything pink. On October 21st, 2009, Elizabeth Olten was at home practicing for a school play. Her mother, Patricia Price, otherwise known as Patty, was just preparing for dinner when there was a knock at the door. It was one of Elizabeth's friends, 6-year-old Emma, who lived across the woods.
Huh?
She had walked over to see if Elizabeth could come play with her. Elizabeth, as any child would, begged to go and play for just a few minutes. Reluctantly, Patty allowed her, but instructed that she had to be back in an hour at 6 o'clock sharp. Because of Elizabeth's fear of the dark.
Wait. How the hell did the kid know the time? A 6-year-old know when an hour is? No. What you got? Like, okay, never mind.
Patty was quite confident that
6
her
and an
daughter
8-year-old
would be back shortly. Excitedly, the two friends burst out the door and into the fresh air. Little did Patty know, an innocent playdate would soon turn into a nightmare. When it finally reached 6 o'clock, Elizabeth still hadn't returned, and Patty had a terrible premonition. Immediately, Patty called her—
hell no. Spider-Man, what you got us watching, man? Nah, Spider-Man. Come on, man. I ain't trying to watch kill no kids, man. Spider-Man, come on. You out of pocket, bro. Well, let's keep watching.
Her neighbor, hoping to hear that Elizabeth was still playing with Emma. Unfortunately, that was not the case. In fact, Patty was horrified to hear from her neighbors that Elizabeth had never made it to the house at all.
Huh?
After calling the police, Patty went over to the neighbor's house to be sure that Elizabeth wasn't somewhere on the property. To her dismay, Elizabeth was nowhere to be found.
Oh my God.
Police began a grid search, and hundreds of people in the community joined to try and find the missing Elizabeth. During the search, investigators pinged Elizabeth's cell phone, which said it was located somewhere in the forest.
Oh, come on,
and they
man.
directed their search to that area. A few volunteers had come across something a bit peculiar in the woods, what appeared to be an empty grave. But still, there was no sign of the young girl. The FBI quickly became involved, and they soon questioned Emma. According to trial documents,
Wait, hold on. Where the hell? How did Emma get home? Wait, where the other girl? She never made it. I'm lost. I'm so fucking lost right now. So Emma is okay, but the other girl never even went over there. They said she never even came. But Emma, they said, came over there and knocked on the door to get her. Hey, Emma, where the fuck is the girl at?
Told investigators that she had played for a while, and then Elizabeth had headed back home. However, Emma, shortly after playing with Elizabeth, had fallen into a bush full of thorns and started crying before she called out, "Alyssa, come and help me." As it turned out, Alyssa Bustamante was Emma's half-sister, and Alyssa was in the area when the two young girls were playing. Alyssa, who was only 15 at the time, was questioned to see if she knew anything of importance about Elizabeth's disappearance. Alyssa lamented that she had no idea where the missing girl was. Police observed that Alyssa was calm and cooperative, and decided that at the time there was no reason to suspect her. However, this would soon take a dramatic turn. Eventually, investigators brought her over to the area of the empty grave. There, Sergeant Rice and his forensics team were processing the area, and as Alyssa made her way over, Rice heard her say something rather strange.
What'd she say?
Alyssa said that she herself had dug the hole, but assured them that there was nothing sinister behind it. Instead, when Rice asked her why, she responded that she just liked to dig holes and that she would place dead animals in them on occasion.
Where the hell you find dead animals?
Alyssa made it sound like the grave was nothing to worry about, Sergeant Rice found her explanation suspicious. While FBI agents searched the Bustamante home for any sign of clues, One agent in particular investigated Alyssa's room.
Okay,
What was found by the
what?
officer was more than disturbing. It was crucial evidence.
What? What was found?
Compared to the rest of the home, Alyssa's room was dark and dreary, with writing on the walls. Although some of the notes on her walls were written in pen, others were described by police as appearing to have been written in blood.
In blood, I knew it.
Along with the strange writing and postcards sent from her father from prison, investigators uncovered an unnerving drawing. Upon further inspection, it turned out to be a drawing of Alyssa's half-sister Emma, as titled on the paper. However, in a disturbing twist, Emma was drawn with slashes on her head and arm.
What?
As police continued through the room of horrors,
That's dark.
they still hadn't found anything that could relate to Elizabeth's disappearance. That is, until they found a diary written by Alyssa. The diary, while not innocent in the slightest, still had nothing of substance in relation to Elizabeth at first. Police flipped through the pages, discovering where Alyssa had previously written about burning down a house and killing its occupants.
Oh my God.
Police assumed that she was referring to her grandparents' house.
15 years
The
old.
investigators turned to
Talking
a
crazy.
page bearing the date of October 21st, 2009, the day Elizabeth vanished.
Uh-oh.
The entry was oddly scribbled out in blue ink, and the only thing they could properly make out at the time was the very last sentence, which read, "I gotta go to church now, LOL." The agents took the diary as potential evidence, with the intent to try and make out the rest of the entry later. When they eventually used black lighting to read what was scribbled under the blue ink, they had a glimpse of something incredibly disturbing.
Uh-oh.
The two words slit and throat.
No.
It was also soon discovered that the same day as Elizabeth's disappearance,
No.
Alyssa had taken a day off from school, her first unexcused absence, which further increased the suspicion surrounding the 15-year-old.
No.
Alyssa was brought in to speak with police about what they had uncovered. Sergeant Rice took her
What?
diary into the interrogation room with Alyssa and her grandmother, but he did not yet reveal to the 15-year-old that he had it. A few questions later, Sergeant Rice informed her that he was in possession of her diary and told her that they had read the last entry. At first, Alyssa tried to say that she had indeed gone into the forest with Elizabeth, but she had not killed her. Instead, she claimed that Elizabeth hit her head and died immediately.
And die? Oh, come on,
Up
bro.
until this point,
All right, Spider-Man. Spider-Man said we gonna get dark, y'all. He said we gonna get dark, and here we are. Nigga Spider-Man said, "Oh, you think I fell off? I got something for you." Damn. This is dark, Spider-Man. Rest in peace to this young lady right here, man. God damn, man.
investigators had been holding out hope that the young girl could possibly be found alive. Rice didn't buy Alyssa's story for a second. After clarifying that the real cause of death would be revealed in the autopsy, he asked her firmly, was her throat cut? To which Alyssa replied, yes. Alyssa's grandmother immediately started to cry after this shocking revelation, and soon left the interrogation room. Alyssa then admitted in detail the horrific acts she committed on that tragic day. Alyssa had instructed her young half-sister Emma to go and fetch Elizabeth and ask her to play. Of course, Alyssa's intent was far from simply letting the two girls enjoy a playdate. Her sinister plot unraveled from there, as she told Emma to go home after she had brought Elizabeth to her. It was then that she led her into the forest.
Oh, man, come on.
In the police report, Rice quoted Alyssa as saying to 9-year-old Elizabeth, "I've got something really neat to show you. It's just a little further up here."
Oh, my
Then,
God.
Alyssa lured Elizabeth to where she had already dug a grave deep in the woods. When they arrived, Alyssa began to strangle Elizabeth.
Oh, come on,
It
bro.
didn't end there, though. Alyssa then stabbed her in the chest multiple times and
come
slit her throat. She proceeded to bury her in one of the 2 graves she had dug and went back home as if nothing had ever happened. Alyssa, who was but a child herself, had violently ended another child's life in the most brutal way possible. After Alyssa's horrific confession, she then led investigators to Elizabeth's body, tucked away in the woods. Elizabeth, covered in mud and leaves, was found partially buried mere inches under the ground.
Man, you gotta watch the motherfuckers that be doing all that slitting their wrists. I remember in school, it used to be like, well, we call them, the Gothic kids. The Gothic kids used to come, with Doc Martens on, with the flannel pants and all black and black fingernails, and they used to slit their goddamn arm. And I'd be like, these are some crazy motherfuckers, like, to sit there and play with, because you're playing with death. You can fuck around and hit a vein and it'd be over. And they just do that shit and just tell me I did it because I was mad, or because when I get mad, I do that, when I be stressing. And it's like, bro, all the signs be there that something is wrong with this motherfucker and they're going to fucking possibly hurt somebody. So to see that this little girl, 15 years old, was going through this shit at 15, tried to overdose, slitting her wrist, carving shit in her wrist. Like, you got to watch her, man. She just can't be out there being around little kids and other, like, she's dangerous, man.
A sad and gruesome sight. After the autopsy, it was revealed that Elizabeth was killed in the exact way that Alyssa had described to Rice, with 8 stab wounds to the chest. Eventually, investigators were able to use the blue light to uncover the rest of Alyssa's sick entry. It read, "I just killed someone. I strangled them and slit their throat, and now they're dead. I don't know how to feel at the moment. It was amazing. As soon as you get over the, oh my god, I can't do this feeling, it's pretty enjoyable. I'm kinda nervous and shaky right now though. Okay, I gotta go to church now, LOL." While the entry itself is disturbing enough, as the investigation continued, more unbelievable details were uncovered. Police found evidence that Alyssa had told a friend that she wondered what it would be like to kill someone. On Alyssa's YouTube, she had listed her hobbies, including killing people.
What?
As well,
as a hobby?
A diary entry written a week prior to Elizabeth's death read,
"This bitch hobby was killing people and nobody was alerted by this?
If I don't talk about it, I bottle it up, and when I explode, someone's gonna die." When police asked why she had killed Elizabeth, Alyssa chillingly explained that she just wanted to know what it felt like to kill someone. Some theories speculate that Elizabeth had not been her original target. Instead, it's widely believed that she initially wanted to kill her 2 brothers, which would explain why she had dug the 2 graves.
That's even crazier.
Following digging the graves, she had gone to school and lived her life as usual, though she appeared to be making plans to kill someone. A disturbing video Alyssa uploaded onto her YouTube page is often pointed to as evidence for the speculated theory that she had initially targeted her brothers. In the video, she convinces her brothers to touch an electric cattle fence. Before it shows her brothers touching the fence, a text title appears saying, "This is where it gets good. We get to see my brothers get hurt."
On January
30th, 2012, Alyssa's trial began. She was tried as an adult and pled guilty to second-degree murder and armed criminal action. However, Alyssa's confession was then suppressed, and her defense team was offered a plea deal, which they accepted. Alyssa was ultimately convicted of second-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison with the chance of parole. She also had an additional 30 years added because of the armed criminal action charge.
30 years, damn.
This meant that Alyssa would serve a little over 35 years in prison before being eligible for parole. Needless to say, this upset Elizabeth's family as well as much of the public. Elizabeth's father, who was in prison on a state drug conviction at the time of the murder, had pleaded in a letter sent to court for Alyssa to receive the maximum sentence before she had been convicted.
Right.
To Elizabeth's father,
The maximum.
it didn't seem fair that while Elizabeth had no chance to live her life, Alyssa could possibly have the chance to live hers after serving time in prison.
Why would she do
Alyssa
that?
made a statement during her sentencing while the Olten family sat stony-faced nearby. She said, "I cannot even understand what you guys are going through. I'm sorry for that. If I could give my life to bring her back, I would, and I'm
Shut up, bitch.
sorry." Understandably, the Olten family was not even close to accepting the teenage murderess's apology. Since the
Ain't
trial,
nobody trying to hear that.
Elizabeth's mother, Patty, has settled a wrongful death lawsuit against Alyssa, which requires her to pay her more than $5 million.
Wait. Where the fuck she getting $5 million from? She got like her grandparents is rich as fuck or something? Or where the hell is she getting $5 million?
2021, Alyssa Bustamante has quite a few persistent supporters, mostly online. On chat forums, some people have commented that they love her, while others say that they would love to be friends with her. Many of these supporters believe that Alyssa, who is now around the age of 27, still might have a chance to turn her life around, and some even think she should be released from prison.
Wow,
There
that's
is an
deep.
interesting and popular theory surrounding Alyssa and her use of antidepressants as a potential factor in her crime. In fact, this theory came up during her
See, I let you know that it's a lot of dark people in the world to where they're like 15 and now she's 27. This happened at 15, she's 27. They're like, oh, she's fine. Nah. No. She killed a 9-year-old. And not just like she plotted this shit out, stabbed her, strangled her, then buried. Like, bro, that's not somebody you want to free, my nigga. No. The fuck? How you saying to my I love you and free her? And I would love to see her out. Nigga, hell no, bitch. You got to rock for that.
trial. At the time of Elizabeth's death, Alyssa was taking Prozac, and her dosage had increased a considerable amount only a few weeks before she committed the crime. Antidepressants are known to have some awful side effects, but Prozac is supposedly on a completely different level. According to LiveScience.com, Prozac is most commonly linked to aggression and known to increase violent behavior by 10.9 times. This fact has led some to speculate that the antidepressant could possibly have played a role in Alyssa's behavior. According to The Guardian, young people taking antidepressants such as Prozac or Seroxat are significantly more likely to commit violent crimes when on the medication, which supports this theory. However,
Shut
it
up.
continues. But taking higher doses of the drugs appear to reduce that risk, scientists say. This additional information appears to discredit the theory, since her dosage had, in fact, increased. And yet, The Guardian also cites that in a study looking at correlations between crime rates and people who are prescribed drugs like Prozac and Seroxat, it found that people in younger age groups, ages 15 to 24, have a much higher chance of committing violent crimes while on the medication. A hefty 43%.
That's some crazy shit, right? For these big pharmaceutical companies that know that. To know that and know these percentages, 43% of teenagers that take this are going to commit violent crimes and kill people off this. 43%. But yet they still pump it out. That's crazy. Oh, no. It's going to help them, but it's also going to hurt them. These pills are going to help you, but they're also going to hurt you. They're going to make you start having crazy thoughts. They're going to make you go out here and do things you shouldn't be doing that you wouldn't do normally if you wasn't taking these pills. And they may make you go out here and do murder and dig graves and stab people and Like, bro, but y'all still pumping this shit out. That's dirty. That's dirty when you think about it.
Despite these statistics, Dr. Anthony Rothschild, the main prosecution witness in Alyssa's trial on the second day of the sentencing hearing, denies this theory adamantly by saying, "There is no reliable evidence in the medical and scientific literature that Prozac causes people to commit murder." Although these theories are interesting to consider, the fact still stands that either way, Elizabeth Olten's murder was committed by Alyssa Bustamante.
Terrible.
No matter the opinions over alleged reasons behind the murder, Elizabeth's family must still bear the burden of knowing that they will never see the happy little girl again because of Alyssa's dark choices.
And the medication
Elizabeth,
on top of that.
who only wanted to go and play outside before dinner, didn't even have the chance to make it back home.
That's fucked up, man.
Patty has commented that she hates Alyssa and has also tearfully stated, "So much has been lost at the hands of that monster. Elizabeth was given a death sentence, and we were given a life sentence."
Yeah, that's not cool, bro. That's not cool. Like, look at the whole circumstance, how they said it happened. She was before dinner going to play. Her mom and there doing dinner. Come on, man. You know, like, if you a parent, you know, come on, man. You preparing dinner for your kids and then tell them to come in the house or something. That shit ain't even like a thing no more. I ain't gonna lie. These kids don't care to be outside playing no more. These kids are on Roblox. They on their iPads. Nigga, they playing Minecraft. They on all the technical shit. They on iPads and phones and shit. But to be sending your kid outside, and they said across the woods to another house, that's what I'm not doing. I don't give a fuck. But you send her out there, and then you had your little sister come get you. Her little sister came and got her, and then like fed it to her. Like, here she go. All right, you go home now. I got her. Hey, come with me in the woods real quick. I want to show you something. Like, that's a sick-ass premeditated murder you just committed on a little innocent girl that had nothing to do with nothing. And it was originally for your brothers. You were going to kill your brothers, your twin brothers. That's dark. That's a dark bitch. And then look what they're saying. Oh, it's the pills. The pills made her like this. But yet y'all still serving them to these kids, bro. Y'all still serving teenagers and kids these pills that got people thinking like that. That's dark. Nobody at 15 should be thinking that dark, bro. That's, nigga, let me kill my brothers, but if I can't get them, I'm gonna go kill my next door neighbor. And it's like, nigga, why? You're 15, live life. You ain't even experienced life yet. That shit not cool, man. But yeah, shit. All right, this is a case almost too disturbing to mention. Elizabeth Olten. Let's give it a like. That is on Explore with us. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section, man. What should have happened to her? I mean, are y'all rocking with her? Like, oh, that's when she was younger. She's 27 now. She was 15 then. Let her get a second chance. She should be free. All right, now, bitch, burn in hell. Let me know which one you rocking with in the comment section right now and get ready for this next reaction.